Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I just wanted to share with you the steps I take for the anticipation of my Guppy Fry arrival. I also want to go over some things that's worked out really well in the past and hasn't worked out at all. So these are a couple different setups that I used when I first started having Guppy Fry that were not successful for me. The back one is a half-a-gallon beta tank. The first one is a decorative type vase that I got from Walmart. My first mistake on my first batch was that I used fresh water that was not from any type of cycled tank, and the Guppy Fry all died overnight. So do not use any type of fresh water that hasn't been aged or cycled. They just did not do well. They are a little fragile those first couple of days, and you want to maintain the water that they're born in. This second one, I used a filter that just sucked them all up. So I did eventually stop that up, and that worked a little bit better, but it was just too strong, and I eventually just took it out altogether. And one tip, if you're going to use something like this, don't make the water level that high. I made it about halfway so the Guppy Fry don't have to work so hard to find the food. So my big tip that I would advise you is make sure you use water from the tank that they're born into. And if you're going to move them from the tank that they're born, make sure you move the mother and let them be born into the tank, and then move the mother back. When I kept moving my fry around, I just didn't have very good results. Moving more towards the positive direction, when I was conducting my experiment, I was measuring the maturity rates of the fry, so I really needed them to survive. So I had a pretty steep learning curve, and the first couple batches did not survive. So just take this advice to heart and just do what works for you. This is how I typically do sort my pregnant females. I usually a couple of days will look for them slowing down and not eating as much, and I will put them in a breeder box. I don't normally sort the fry from the female in the same breeder box, but yesterday I did do that because she wasn't necessarily trying to eat the fry, but she was kind of chasing him or her for the first few minutes, so I did separate them. I would say, given the opportunity in a larger aquarium, I wouldn't mess with sorting the pregnant females out into a breeder box. I would allow her to give birth straight into the tank. I would let the Guppy Fry grow for a few weeks to a month until they got a little bit of a coloration and were able to sex them. And then I would pick the strongest and most colorful ones to put in a separate tank and then allow breed. They're not typically ready to breed and give birth, the females, for at least 3 months, but if given the opportunity to mate, they will have fry earlier. If you don't have plans and wish to breed the guppies, I would try to separate the males and the females as soon as you are able to sex them. It does seem like the males do develop a slight iridescence before the female fry. However, if you do have plans and wish to breed your guppies, just remember, if given the opportunity, they will. You will want to keep in mind your water parameters. Guppies do like a slightly higher pH and slightly harder water. And from my experience, fry do well with a temperature around 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And due to the fry needing a little bit more food, you will have to do weekly water changes of at least 25%. So switching gears, an update on the fry from yesterday. I still only have 3. I did notice that one didn't survive and was on the plant. I have read, and from my experience, it seems like the younger females do have smaller brood sizes, and the slightly older females will have larger ones. In the past, my slightly older females would have closer to 20 fry, and my younger ones would have, again, in this tank, I've had one a few months ago, and then yesterday I only had 3. So don't necessarily get discouraged if you witness this. I am planning to make a video very soon all over how to care for your Guppy Fry, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe to make sure you get notified. But a few things to keep in mind about Guppy Fry: you will need a lot of hiding spaces if you do wish to keep them. Guppies overall are very hardy fish, but in the beginning, the first couple of days that they're born, they can be a little fragile because their immune systems are a little underdeveloped, so they can be prone to disease and illness. But make sure you keep your water changes up because they do need fed more often, at least 4 to 6 times a day, a really fine food. Make sure they don't have to swim very far to find it. Again, these are just little tips that I've picked up along the way that work for me. I do leave the new fry in the breeder box for about a week, no more, due to the increase in feeding. They get really dirty, so I give it about a week and then I move them to a different tank. But if you have something that works really well for you, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I do really enjoy learning and picking up tips from all of you guys, so feel free to leave a comment below. Like the video, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all updates. And thank you so much for watching. Enjoy!